Alright folks, if you haven't hit that subscribe button for Buried yet, I might just have to show up at your door and do it for you. Welcome to Buried, where we dive deep into the darkest, most chilling true crime stories that'll leave you questioning everything. Today we're heading to Sydney, Australia in the 90s, for a case so bizarre it sounds like it was ripped straight out of a horror movie. Picture this: a fisherman hauls up his net, expecting a big catch, only to find something that'll haunt him for years. A human body, strapped to a rusted metal cross, dumped in a river like some twisted sacrifice. This is the story of the Rack Man, a mystery that gripped Australia and still leaves investigators scratching their heads. Who was this guy? Why was he tied to a custom-made steel frame and sunk in the Hawkesbury River? And who went to all this trouble to make him disappear? Buckle up, because we're about to unravel this step by step, and trust me, it's gonna stick with you. Let's set the scene. It's August 11th, 94, a clear morning on the Hawkesbury River, just north of Sydney. The water's calm, seagulls circling overhead, the air smelling of salt and seaweed. Mark Peterson, a local fisherman, is out with his crew on their boat, doing what they do every day, casting nets, hoping for a decent haul. Around midday, they start pulling in the net, but something's off. It's heavy, way heavier than usual. The crew exchanges looks, half excited, half puzzled. Maybe they have snagged a jackpot of fish or some lost treasure, but as the net breaks the surface, their stomachs drop. No fish, no treasure. Instead, tangled in the ropes is a rusted steel frame, about 6 feet long, shaped eerily like a cross. Black plastic garbage bags are wrapped tightly around it, torn in places, and sticking out from one of the rips is something unmistakable: human bone. The deck goes quiet. Mark Peterson, a seasoned fisherman who's seen his share of weird catches, feels a chill run down his spine. The crew gathers closer, hearts pounding, as they inspect the frame. It's not just junk, it's deliberate, almost ritualistic. The metal bars are welded into a cross, perfectly sized for a human body. Wires and ropes bind the plastic-wrapped remains to the frame, tight around the wrists, torso, and neck. This isn't an accident. Someone meant for this body to stay hidden beneath the river's dark waters. Mark scrambles to the radio, his voice shaky but urgent.
This is Mark Peterson on the Seahawk. We just pulled up something from the river. It's a body, a human body, tied to some kind of metal cross.
Can you repeat that? Did you say a body?
Yeah, it's bad. You need to get someone out here now.
The Broken Bay Water Police race to the scene, their boat cutting through the choppy water. When they arrive, the sight confirms their worst fears. The remains are human, no question. They escort Peterson's boat to a secure dock, where forensic teams are already waiting under the harsh glare of portable lights. Carefully, they cut away the plastic bags, revealing a badly decomposed body. The smell is overpowering, rotting flesh mixed with the dank river odor. The corpse is little more than bones, the skull battered, the frame clearly built to fit this person like a glove. It's heavy too, way too heavy for one person to handle alone. This was no solo job. Someone, or someones, went to a lot of trouble to sink this guy. The media dubs the victim Rack Man after the bizarre steel rack he was strapped to. And just like that, one of Australia's most haunting murder mysteries begins. The investigation kicks off with a million questions. Who is this guy? How long was he down there? And why this elaborate setup? The Hawkesbury River is deep and murky, perfect for hiding secrets, but this body wasn't supposed to be found. Forensic teams get to work, but the river hasn't been kind. The body's been underwater for months, maybe close to a year, leaving little to go on. No fingerprints, no facial features, just a skull and bones wrapped in plastic. Still, they piece together what they can. The victim is male, likely in his early 20s to mid-40s, about 5'3" tall with dark hair. His teeth are mostly intact, except for one missing molar, pulled years earlier. No wallet, no ID, nothing to hint at who he was. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma to the head. Someone smashed his skull with a heavy object, hard enough to crack bone and destroy his brain. Whether he was tied to the cross before or after death, or if he was still alive when he hit the water, remains unclear. But one thing's certain: this was brutal, deliberate, and meant to send a message, or erase one. The steel frame itself is a clue. It's custom-made, welded with precision, not some random scrap. The bars are measured to fit the victim's body, and the weight, hundreds of pounds, suggests multiple people or heavy equipment were involved. Whoever built this new welding had access to tools, maybe even a workshop. Investigators start chasing this angle, but it's like chasing ghosts. No local welders come forward, no workshops match the materials. The media eats it up, splashing headlines about the River Crucifix Murder across newspapers and TV screens. A forensic artist crafts a facial reconstruction, sculpting features onto a replica of the skull, a youngish man with dark hair, a strong jaw, and hollow eyes. The image is everywhere, staring out from newsstands and TV reports, begging someone to recognize him. Australia's hooked, horrified, and buzzing with theories. Was this a gangland hit? Sydney's underworld in the 90s was a nasty place. Drugs, turf wars, and bodies piling up. The precision of the murder screams professional. Maybe Rackman was an informant who got too chatty, or someone who crossed a mob boss. The cross could be a warning. Pay up or end up like this. Or was it personal? The effort to build and sink that frame feels like rage, like someone wanted to humiliate him, even in death. Some whisper about a cult, maybe a ritual killing, but the police find no evidence of that. Tips flood in. The New South Wales government slaps a $100,000 reward on the table for info leading to the killer. Names start popping up. First, Joe Biviano, a drug dealer who vanished in '93. He's the right height, age, and has underworld ties. But DNA from his family doesn't match. Ruled out. Next, Peter Metropolis, a Greek-Australian businessman rumored to have been dumped at sea by criminals. Wrong height, wrong dental records, another dead end. Then there's Christopher Flannery, aka Mr. Rent-A-Kill, a notorious hitman who disappeared in 1985. He's a long shot, but his enemies list was long enough to make it plausible. No dice, dental records don't match. One by one, leads fizzle out. The case grips the nation, then fades. By the early 2000s, Rackman is just another cold case, his remains sitting in an evidence locker, known only by that eerie nickname. Fast forward to 2018. Forensic tech has come a long way, and DNA profiling is light years ahead of 90s methods. Investigators dust off Rackman's remains, preserved all these years, and run new tests. August 2018, a bombshell, they've got a name. Max Tanchevski, 37 years old, from Newtown, Sydney. Max was on the police's radar back in the 90s, but early DNA tests were inconclusive. Now, there's no doubt. It's him. So, who was Max? Not a gangster, not a hitman, just a regular guy with a big problem. Gambling. Friends and family say he was obsessed, carrying wads of cash, disappearing for days on gambling binges. He'd always come back, until January 11th, '93. That day, he withdrew Wenton, about 4,000 today, kissed his girlfriend goodbye, and said he was headed to the Gold Coast, his usual gambling spot. He never made it. The Hawkesbury River, where his body was found, is hundreds of kilometers south of the Gold Coast, meaning something went wrong right after he left Sydney. Theories swirl. The leading one, gambling debts. Max might have owed the wrong people, loan sharks, maybe a crime syndicate. The cross could have been a message, don't mess with us. Organized crime had the means, workshops, manpower, motive, but no specific gang is ever linked, and no one talks. If it was a mob hit, they've kept it airtight for decades. Another theory, personal beef. The brutality feels like a grudge, maybe a betrayal, an affair, or something Max didn't see coming. But building a custom frame and sinking it takes planning, not just passion. Could it have been a random psycho, a serial killer picking victims for kicks? No similar cases turn up, and serial killers usually leave patterns. The cult theory lingers, with whispers of groups like the Family or the Order of Saint Charbel, but police find nothing to back it up. Then there's the police themselves. Some smell a cover-up. That custom frame had to come from somewhere, a workshop, an industrial site, but no one traces it. The river was never dragged for other bodies, despite the net suggesting more could be out there. Max's friends and family had no clue about his final days. Were they scared silent? And why did it take until 2018 to ID him, when DNA tech could have cracked it in the early 2000s? Max was on their list, yet no one connected the dots. Was it incompetence or something shadier? Max's family got some closure knowing his name, but the big questions, who killed him and why, remain. The Rackman case is one of Australia's strangest unsolved mysteries, a puzzle with no suspects, no clear motive, no witnesses. Was it a mob hit, a personal vendetta, a random act of madness? Until someone talks, or another body turns up, Max Tanchevski's killer walks free, and the river keeps its secrets. That's the story of the Rackman on Buried. If this case got under your skin, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got more mysteries coming your way. Stay curious and stay safe.